Motorola has some new devices out. Those devices have some really cool widgets. One that's getting a lot of attention is called the Circles widget. It looks really nice. It's a clock. It has your weather forecast, your current weather. It does everything that you want a nice, good clock widget to do. But I don't have a Motorola phone, so how can I get it on my devices? I'm Joe Levi. This is Pocket Now. Let's go find out how to do that. So first off, this video was going to be all about how to find and install the ripped or the ported version of the Motorola Clock Circle widget thing onto your device. It was somewhat simple. You downloaded one zip file, inside that were 3 APKs. You installed each one of them, changed your launcher over to the Motorola launcher, and then once you did that, you could install those widgets just like any other widgets, and it was great. They even had that cool circle flippy thing where you'd roll the widget to change from, today's forecast to tomorrow's forecast and all that other cool stuff that the Motorola widget does. Unfortunately, in prepping for this video, every single source that I found had been sent a DMCA takedown notice by Motorola, and you can no longer find those files. At least I couldn't. And if I can't, you're going to have a hard time doing it. So let's see if we can do this a little bit more honestly. We'll lose some functionality, but we'll still get essentially the same look and feel as the Motorola widget. This is my Nexus 7. Very obviously not a Motorola device. So I want to go ahead and put the clock widget, the rings, whatever you want to call that right here, the circle widget, on my screen. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our app drawer, head out to the Play Store, and we're going to search for one more clock widget. Now, there are two results. Both of them are by Zafran Software. One of them is free, one of them costs $1. We're going to show you everything today with the free version, just in case you want to try it out. The paid version essentially gives you just more clock sizes. So let's go ahead and try this now with the free. Here you can see all the fun stuff. We go ahead and install it, which I've already done. Once that's done, it's just like any other widget. So we'll go back here to our app drawer and over to widgets, and now we need to scroll over to one more clock widget, which is OMC. And I tapped on that instead of dragged it. This free version only has a 4x2, but you can get whatever else you want. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to tap that, we're going to skip past, and then we're going to come into themes. You already noticed I've got the clock widget theme installed. It doesn't come that way. So hit widget theme. You're going to want to download all clocks, which I've done. It's about 7 meg. It takes a little bit of time, a couple minutes, but that's it. Once you've done that, you've got a whole bunch of these cool things that you can choose from. One of them is called Chrome Rings. Go ahead and select that. You can personalize your clock if you would like. Comes over here, and lots of stuff you can do. Drag, move, tweak, colors, maybe not colors, lots of stuff. We're not going to play around with that too much. We'll abandon those changes, skip our useful tip again. Now, one thing I do want to point out is over here in our weather and widget options, you can see I can refresh my weather. It does have somewhat real-time weather. Weather provider used to be Google, but Google turned off their unpublished weather API. So now this widget has chosen yr.no. It's been fairly decent, even though they're nowhere near where I live, the source, but they've got weather for the rest of the world, so that's kind of cool. I've got it set to update my clock every 30 seconds, that's the default, and to refresh my weather every hour. I'd recommend that you do that, or a little bit beyond that, 4 or 8 hours, just to conserve battery life. Of course, if your weather changes often, you may want to do that more frequently. Once that's done, simply back out of it, and rotate this again. That way, there you go, you've got your circle clock. Now, what does this not have that the Motorola version has? Well, if you want to flip this, you see that? That didn't work, it opened it up. I can't flip around and switch over the rings to get more information, to get more days forecast. It just doesn't work. That's because this isn't the Motorola widget. That's the one that they DMCA'd to have everybody take down the sources. So unless you can find those files, you can't do it again. But if you can find those files. It's 3 APKs. You install them, you set up the Motorola launcher essentially as your launcher, so it replaces whatever you have. That may or may not be okay with you, but if you want it to work, you got to do it. So once you've got the Motorola launcher set up as your launcher, then you just go ahead and add that widget and you're done. It works just like it would on a Motorola device. Of course, because it's not a Motorola device, you may run into some quirks, some weird stuff, who knows, but you can always fall back to get the look of the Motorola Circle widget or the Rings widget without having to tread any legal boundaries there with Motorola. So what did you think? Is that an acceptable alternative to the Motorola Rings widget? Are you going to go ahead and track down the contraband APK file so you can get the real one and get the cool flippy stuff? Or are you happy with some other clock widget that has weather built in? Any of those answers we want to know. Go to this link right here down at the bottom. If you're watching this video on YouTube, we've got the link over to Pocketnow. Leave your comments, your questions, answer those brief questions for us over at PocketNow.com. We'd love to know what you're planning to do with the Rings widget, or maybe you just think, it's just one more clock widget. But still, we want to know. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to our video channel, you can do so at the end. We'll have a nice button for you to do that. For Pocketnow, showing off really cool widgets. I'm Joe Levi. Thanks for watching.